Anti-Afro Svengalis. Before I get into this commentary, I want to make a comment about the complaints that have been floated around regarding people's content being clipped. I don't care what anybody says about clip content. People went for 5 years using my videos when I was not monetized, or I chose not to be monetized. They made money off of what I researched and what I posted. So I don't give a damn what anybody says about content being clipped, as long as that's within the confines of YouTube regulations. Who the hell cares? Yeah, well, we know why Dumpsey would care. Let's move on to Dumpsey, because that's who I'm going to talk about. We know why he would care, because he's in hot water. So the reason I'm doing this video is it got back to me, or has been getting back to me, not just recently, within the last, say, 2 months. He's been doing this more and more, although he always brings up my name somehow, some way, and Rev G somehow, some way in his videos. He's been going on this repetitive speech, like an intro of sorts, in his videos or live streams, where he makes reference to he's doing this offline, he's doing this, and it's behind the scenes, and he's handling business, and then he starts to drop names and mention my name and talk about complaints.
I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm a little vanilla today, and I will be a little vanilla for the upcoming weeks, because I got a situation going on offline. There are some situations, there's some investigations. There are some things that will be happening that only a few people will know about. There's some ongoing investigations, because I'm not like it was back in 19, 20, 2021, where I allowed people to do stuff and I ain't try to hit back. I didn't give a damn because my businesses were not monetarily affected. I'm gonna let some other professional organization handle that. I'm gonna let the Social Security office handle that. I will let the Board of Behavioral Sciences in the state of California handle that. You will not be seeing me going around doing stuff that I used to, because at this point of the game, the game is not on YouTube. And this is facts.
What he's doing is the same thing he did before. Back in 2020, when I first started filing complaints against Dumpsey, he came on and started saying that I was the one under inquisition. I was the one facing disciplinary action. And all along, he was talking about himself. We have the same situation going on right now. And let me backtrack a second. We found out, because Texas is not a public investigation state, which means they will get their information. And I'm speaking specifically about the board, the Texas Behavioral Health Council, aka board. They will receive a complaint. When they do receive a complaint, they will do all their investigations and interviews behind the scenes. If they decide to issue disciplinary action against the licensee, they will then publish that. They don't publish when they're investigating a potentially valid claim. It is different in the state where I reside. Had any of these so-called complaints that these subjects keep saying they put against me, and Dumpsey keeps saying I'm under this inquisition, this is a public investigation state, and that proposed complaint process would be visible to the public. And that is the reason why I can reemphasize to you the lies that Dumpsey tells. Now, when he's speaking in these intros, he's making it, I shouldn't say making it appear, he's lying by saying he has a process underway with respect to me, that he has done something which resulted in me being placed on some investigation, and they're looking at me and they're going to do this and do that. These are all lies, just like it was a lie back in 2020 and 21. And as a matter of fact, in the first few months of 2021, March, I think it was March, is when I received my letter as to the disposition of him using these false diagnoses, these unethical diagnoses, which is strictly prohibited in this profession. he got in trouble for that. He got a formal written warning with respect to me. And then we found out he got disciplined for the Medicaid fraud. What he keeps coming up and lying and saying it didn't happen, it absolutely happened. It was a finding of fact. That investigation was going on for more than a year alongside the complaint that I filed. And we didn't realize that they were going on at the same time. So they issued this formal disciplinary action against Dumpsey. It's a permanent strike on his record. If you go to the Texas Behavioral Health Council, I'm going to leave the link. Type in his name. Spears is the last name. Put the letter D in. You'll see what comes up. Put it in there and see what happens. It's going to pull up the case. Here it is right here, people. He was the one under inquisition the entire time that he kept saying I was under investigation. I have never been under, quote, investigation. He is such a liar. He's the one who's been in trouble then, and he's in trouble now. And when I say in trouble, he's saying that he has some action. You don't have shit against me. I filed a complaint against Dumpsey, the Medicaid defrauder, D.Derell, DeFail, however you want to refer to him. And I filed that complaint. Here it is, back in June. I have referenced this before. I'm letting you know we're coming up on 10 months, people. 10 months, which is on the better side of 1 year ago, I filed this complaint against Dumpsey because I made it very, very clear. I don't use the language, leave me alone. People have different ways of expressing things. I just made it very clear if the behavior didn't stop, I was going to pedal to the metal and I wasn't going to let up. That's exactly what I stated. And that's exactly what I'm doing right now. So this complaint has been in the works for 10 months. 10 months. Let's be clear about what a complaint is. I filed a formal complaint against Dumpsey with those who have jurisdiction with respect to discipline. There is no formal complaint or any complaint pending against me wherein there would be a finding of fact or not with respect to me. Dumpsey is the one who has to plead his case. Now, he decided to go to hearing. They could have very well decided it without a hearing. He decided he wanted to have a hearing, and that's going to take place. I'm not going to give you the exact date. I already have the documentation within the next 30 days or so. He's the one that has to answer to what he has been doing, the violations that I reported him for. And it doesn't matter how much he cries and complains. It doesn't matter how many lies he comes up with. Fact of the matter, he crossed the line many, 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 many times and refused to stop. This is not going to be the end. I've got another complaint I'm going to fire up with another entity. I'm not going to mention which entity. I am not going to stop until the appropriate consequences are handed down. As for all these other freaks and demons out there who continue to hope and wish and pray and work the Ouija board, thinking I'm going to get put under some sort of inquisition or complaint process, you can continue on your path, because there is a difference between those of us who know how to comport our conduct to a certain degree of expectation. There are those of us who know how to separate professional life from our free time. Those who have difficulty end up in trouble. Dumpsey, Carrie Ann, NPW, there are others. They are the ones who have come up on YouTube 100% inappropriate, mincing and mixing and fusing their so-called road professional status with social media. That is a recipe for disaster. There are those online who post videos about their profession. They're using their professional titles. They are using professional experience, and they're bringing it to YouTube. But note their demeanor and see if you can find these people and any other parts on YouTube doing what Dumpsey does, doing what Carrie Ann does, doing what MPW does. See if you can find them. They're not there. There is a difference. There is a reason why Dumpsey is in the situation he is in, and I'm in the situation that I am in. You know what? With respect to Carrie Ann is a liar too. And I intend to find out exactly what happened with this complaint. I don't believe her. She didn't get in any trouble. I absolutely do not believe, not for a second, especially her saying she didn't do anything wrong. She absolutely did. And the school district does not have final say over what happens to Carrie Ann. I made it very clear. Anybody that's going to get up here and make false accusations of others harming children should not have a professional license. In particular, shouldn't have a teaching credential. It doesn't matter what Carrie Ann says about me. I'm never going to replicate her conduct, which is a reason, again, that Dumpsey and Carrie Ann are in the position that they're in. I'm in the position that I am in. Carrie Ann had to move a channel. No, she didn't move a channel. She created a brand new channel, thinking that's going to, what, move her out of danger. But she's continuing with her same conduct. And I'm ready. I'm going to be striking again. There's no way in hell you're going to get up here on YouTube and use that language against innocent people and participate in behavior that's 100% in violation of every single regulation imaginable. Let me tell you what the most insulting aspect of Dumpsey's conduct, that he has the nerve to sit here and think he can impose some sort of regulations and rules upon me, and I'm supposed to comport that conduct based on what his expectations are. I never even spoke to Dumpsey. I never had any interaction with him. And here he is thinking he can put me under some sort of code where I can keep it on YouTube. Like hell I will. I'm not keeping shit on YouTube. Dumpsey was paying for subjects to file false reports. And let me report on these so-called false reports. I've never been contacted, not once, by the regulating board, by the licensing board, about please answer these complaints that people are putting on you. And why is that? Because they're not sustainable. They don't even have any perspective degree of validity. So that's why I don't hear from anyone. And these other so-called complaints, well, those who were filing the complaints were considered to be harassing the business because these complaints were so clearly bogus and outrageously false and fraudulent. Who are these people would be the questions. Do you have their links to their whatever social media pages? And they were mortified to see what was on their pages, people's spouses and children, and they're putting in complaints, bogus, BS, bullshit complaints on me and thinking it's going to result in what? It only resulted in people looking and saying, oh my goodness, we didn't realize this kind of horror is allowed to go on social media. Yeah, we hear about it on the news, but this is like stuff on the news that you hear. These people are horrific. And please take all precautions. And it's always been supportive. They're not going to sit here and believe a bunch of lies from these subjects who go around making false reports. But again, they can continue to do what they're doing and they will be facing legal consequences. I'm not facing any legal consequences, not even from a bogus federal lawsuit. And what did the judge do with that? Booted it. Nefarious, not meeting the legal standard, no threats of violence, on and on and on and on. The judge sided with me. The judge sided with Rev G. The judge sided with AFW. You can say whatever you want to say. Are you going to be able to prove it? The answer is no. As I stated in one of my recent videos, all of these attacks, this targeting of families, got started with Dumpsey. Dumpsey started that. He's the one who came on YouTube, and it's like a frenzy. He's got no self-control. There's no consideration. There's no deliberation. It's just buck wild bullshit. And he really hopes and prays that I would follow right along with that, and I'm not. There's no way in hell I'd ever come online acting like that, running around hollering and screaming, attacking every protected group under the sun. Now, let me tell you something, folks. Dumpsey thinks he's got an issue with me. No, he doesn't, because most of the complaint didn't even refer to me. Some of it did. It's the conduct overall, the violations overall. It isn't specific to me. So what's he going to say about that? He said what he said. He did what he did. Bottom line, Dumpsey displays his anger by immediately sexualizing in a negative, debasing, degrading, discriminatory, and harassing manner with sexual emphasis when it comes to men and women. No one is spared. Children are not even spared. And he's up here acting like a victim. Dumpsey is no victim. His behavior is under inquisition, not mine. He said what he said, and he did what he did. And I'm going to continue doing what I said I would do. I'm going to keep my foot on this gas, and I'm going to keep stepping. I'm going to hit the floorboard. I'm not going to stop. Dumpsey didn't stop. He sat up here and told the most vicious, vile, unethical, sexually harassing lies about me, about my friends and supporters, and about those I don't even rock with. That doesn't even matter. Saying it is what matters. It doesn't matter who they said it against. It doesn't matter who he perpetrated these atrocities against. It is conduct that is unbecoming to the nth degree and should not be allowed to like, oh my goodness, this is free speech. No, we don't have the same type of free speech rights unfettered if you are a professional. You just don't. And if that's something that these rogue professionals can't get, they need to get the heck out of the profession that they're in. If they cannot handle being held accountable, they're not cut out for the position that they have. They shouldn't be possessing the credentials that they have. As I stated, I'm not stopping. I'm not going to be quiet. There is nothing that Dumpsey can do. He was already given fair warning multiple times that this is the route I was going to take. You can't force me to keep shit on YouTube. I refuse to keep it on YouTube. And I'll be very honest with you, because the white man is the only one they listen to. When I say the white man, the system that the white man has put in place. No, I'm not going to be on YouTube and be subjected to all harassment, abuse, and threats. I'm going to get any and every agency I can involved. I'm going to make my reports. It does not rest on whether or not somebody approves, whether they like me, whether they support me. It doesn't matter. Call me every name in the book. And if you're a public servant, I'm going to report you if it's actionable. Other than that, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, which is making sure each and every time I encounter, it becomes known to me that there are violations of my rights, I'm going to report it. I will find the appropriate agency and I will report the violation. Folks, you know I have more coming your way. In the meantime, you know the drill. Buyer beware.